Obviously, the game didn't go the way we would have hoped on Saturday. They got after us pretty good. The start was a key, obviously. First drive, not bad. We make them drive the football, which we were hoping to do. We had a couple third down opportunities in the first drive to get off the field and didn't do it. And then obviously we couldn't really get anything mustered on offense until late in the first half. And then second drive, they hit us with the flea flicker, and we initially had it defended. Bucci saw it initially, but peeked in the backfield on kind of a double move, and they got us. And next thing you know, it's 28-0 before we even get a first down. So obviously, not going into a place where we knew they had a bunch of athletes, we knew they were explosive on offense. We had to try to slow them down early, and we had to try to move the football offensively early, and we didn't do either. So kind of a full team debacle in the first half. And then second half, again, I thought our kids competed hard. I thought we did some better things. Obviously, playing in that situation when you're down that much, you're just trying to get something out of the day and improve and move forward. Watching the tape on the way home on Sunday, although the score was similar to Wisconsin, it really wasn't Wisconsin like. We had more guys that actually played pretty decent games. Obviously, we didn't have enough. We gave up some big plays. We had guys that physically were overmatched, but we had plenty of guys out there that weren't physically overmatched. There's a number of guys that are going to watch the tape today and not think that they played that bad, but obviously it takes 11 on defense, it takes 11 on offense, and there's some guys that did some good things blocking, there's some guys that didn't do some good things blocking, there's some guys that physically ran the ball better and competed better, but you watch some of our kids offensively, and they competed, and they made some plays pretty consistently when they had the opportunity, where Wisconsin game was kind of no chance. A lot of it was just being overwhelmed. So, and then same defensively. We didn't get pushed around up front. All right, were we perfect on our fits? No, we weren't perfect on our fits, but we didn't get pushed around up front. At times we covered them pretty good. At times we didn't cover them at all. So it wasn't like when you look at the tape and whether we were in man or zone, we couldn't get on body and cover those guys. The biggest thing for us moving forward is the consistency of we have to be physical on defense. We are very physical against Cincinnati. We are physical in spurts against Western Kentucky. And when we were physical, we held our own defensively. When we weren't physical, when we let the receivers roll down the field, it got ugly in a hurry. And then same thing up front. We are physical at times tackling. We didn't get knocked off the ball, but there's times we didn't tackle near as good as we tackled the week before. And just the consistency of that is going to be important for our defense. And offensive, it's just about execution. All right, there was times we blocked them pretty good, and the back didn't really run the play the way exactly it's supposed to be running, cut it into a crowd when there was an edge to be had, and then consistency in the pass game, whether it's a protection breakdown, whether it's a receiver breakdown, whether it's a quarterback breakdown. Again, there was opportunities. Wisconsin, we were kind of overwhelmed. They hit us in the backfield on the runs. They were all over our quarterback. There's times we had time, and there was guys open, and we got to deliver the ball. There's times that we got to win one-on-one matchups, and there's other times that there's guys open and we don't block it as well. So again, different when I watched this tape than a couple weeks ago that there was, and different when they watch it today. There are going to be a number of times where it'll be like, okay, we're not that far away. We got to finish these plays, and we got to be more consistent on both sides of the ball. So there's certainly. I think they played very well. I don't think we played very well. That's on me. But I think there's not as much difference between the two programs as the scores indicate. That's a frustrating thing from our point. Moving forward to Kent State, they're tremendous on defense. They were really, really good a year ago on defense. We ended up beating them 10-3, so we saw it firsthand. We didn't have a lot of offense for the whole game. They've been really good against other teams in our league on defense a year ago. They struggled on offense a year ago. This year they're playing almost everybody's back on the defense. They're playing lights out. They held Minnesota to 10 points. They held Marshall to 22 points in regulation. I know they end up losing to Marshall in double overtime, but they are physical up front. They are aggressive. They cover you very well on the back end. They don't give you a lot run or pass, and so that's going to be a huge task for our offense. And we got to execute. If we don't execute better, we're going to really have a hard time moving the ball against Kent State. Offensively, I think they got a great plan. I think they know who their football team is. All right. I'm sure some of their fans probably think they're too conservative at times, but they know exactly the strength of their team is their defense, and they're running the ball, and they're running the ball better every week. They're running the ball inside, they're running the ball in the perimeter, they're using misdirections, and then they're taking shots down the field with double moves or fake screens or different ways to get one-on-one matchups and take their shots and creating some big plays. They had a huge play on a reverse, they had a huge play with the long pass to set up scores a week ago, and they're controlling clock with their offense, they're controlling the game, they're getting first downs, they're limiting and playing field possession. So to me, they have a very good plan of how they can be very successful. It's not much different than a couple years ago when they did win the league. They were very salty on defense, and they ran the ball very good, and then they were opportunistic in the pass game, and I think that's exactly what they're doing this year, and it's why they almost beat Minnesota and almost beat Marshall. I know they would have liked to win those games, but the plan was to grind it out offensively and not turn the ball over, and then play great defense, which they know they can do. So they've been good, and they're improved from a year ago offensively, and I think they have a really good identity on both sides of the ball and an identity as a football team.
How are you physically, injury-wise?
I'm hopeful we're going to be better this week. We weren't great last week. I'm hopeful we'll be a little better. We'll see today really, 2 days out from the game. So we were a little beaten down, like everyone. We knew we had a tough 3-week run, and the Cincy game took its toll on us physically. And we gotta hopefully be more healthy physically, and then I think mentally we just got to be sharper and react to the grind that is a 12-game college football season, and we don't have any bye weeks, and again, that's part of us maturing as a football team to come ready to play. It's part of my job as a head coach to get them ready to play at the same level every week, and I don't think anybody that watched us 2 weeks ago to last week saw the same level of play. So, and I think that's just part of our process that we're working through and understanding that you got to be on all the time. And I know Western Kentucky's super talented, which they are. You have to be, all the more reason you have to be on all the time. So hopefully we'll be mentally and physically more fresh. I'm hopeful.
So, Coach, a number that kind of jumped out to me was first downs. Miami, 59 opponents, 103 through these first 4 games. What are some specific things that need to change in order for that number to become a little more even?
Well, just offensive consistency, obviously, in our execution. All right, obviously, 2 of the games makes it really lopsided. The 2 games we were in, we had more first downs than 1, and the other one was very even. Then obviously the 2 games are lopsided. The first downs last week and against Wisconsin weren't even close. But again, for us, we got to worry about what we need to do to execute and play physical on both sides of the ball and what we can control. And there's times, even Saturday, that we were in good position and a Western Kentucky running back or receiver made somebody miss and broke a play. Those are the plays that you can live with a little more. We got to be able to finish those plays, but it's the plays when you're not in position to be there to make the play are the ones that we really got to be critical on ourselves and really look and make sure that we're in the right spot at all times.
Is it still a product of guys trying to do too much? Being out of position or just?
We try to be as simple as we can every week. Whenever you don't execute, you always look at, hey, did we do too much? We definitely weren't doing too much on offense. We always have a very short and simple game plan. We know how young we are at multiple positions. Most of the guys that are touching the ball are young kids. So we're not doing too much offensively. We got to do it better and sharper and understand the game better. Defensively, I would say probably we had more of an aggressive game plan because of all the stuff they do and all the weapons they had and all the different formations and motions. They really get a lot of teams outflanked and get a lot of easy plays, and we were trying to not let that happen. Did that slow our kids down? Possibly, yes, looking back at it. But on the other hand, I didn't want them just lobbing the ball to people wide open like I saw on tape all the time too, as they maneuvered guys around. So I liked our plan defensively. We didn't execute it. Were we ready to execute it at this point in our program? Maybe not. Maybe that's a plan that next year we could execute better. But at sometimes you got to push the envelope too. You're going on the road. You're a 20-point underdog. We're certainly not going there playing not to lose. We're going to go in there and try to have an aggressive plan and try to win. So that's more, I would say maybe we did a little too much defensively, but again, looking back on it, going in, I would probably have the same plan. If you sit there like Ducks against Western Kentucky, they score a lot of points. They scored a lot of points against us, but to me, at least we went in there guns ablaze and trying to stop them.
So last week the passing game was, potent with Western. Looking forward to this week. How much of a turnover is it going from passing focused to running focused on defense?
It's the same every week. Whether they throw it more or run it more, you got to run fit and pass fit. Whatever coverage you're in, you got to get on body. It's Division I football. If you're not on body, people are going to make you pay, whether you're in man or zone. You got to know who you're matching. And then obviously in the run game, it's critical. You got to run fit and you got to be physical. They do a good job with their east and west and their jet sweeps, but they do a very nice job of running north and south, and they have some big backs and physical backs that do a great job of pushing the pile. So we got to be in the right place and we got to be physical in our gaps.
So after Saturday's game, you said that was one of those games where you start to question everything. But if you could summarize in a nutshell, maybe 1, 2, 3 main areas of concern where if those things were where you'd want them to be, you'd be winning games. What would it be? Would it be secondary, O-line?
Yeah, no, again, like I said, watching this one, and I'm pretty honest. Watching this one was different. I know the score wasn't much different, but there's times we're not very far off. It wasn't as demoralizing as maybe I felt right after the game because the score, and I kind of had high expectations coming in and battling them. I was disappointed we didn't slow them down. I was disappointed we didn't move the ball more. But then when you watch the tape, it wasn't – Wisconsin, I watched the tape on the bus ride home. I was like, we really didn't have – we were physically overwhelmed. And there were certainly times Saturday we were physically overwhelmed, but there are more certain individuals on certain plays. And the next play, that same individual come back and – either be on body and coverage. Looks like he couldn't cover him one down, but then he could cover him. So now, to me, it comes into that mental toughness of doing it every snap and not worrying about the score and competing. And a little bit is learning the physical grind of the nature of our schedule and back to back to back, because there was times, again, even offensive, there's times that we didn't get any yards rushing, but we blocked the play pretty good. And maybe we didn't make the right read at running back, so it wasn't like at Wisconsin where we couldn't block them. There's times we had an edge and we should have got the ball on the edge. That should have been a first down, and we didn't get the first down. We punted, and then even within drives, there's times that we made some plays in drives, and then there's times that we didn't. Too many mental errors on defense. All right, too many times wandering eyes. We've been really growing. We were really bad at that a year ago. We've really been growing defensively about eye controlling keys and go where your key and trust. Now Western makes that harder because of all their movement and all the formation. But that's a good test for our defense. And at times we were okay, and at times we failed the test. So that's the lesson to be learned. So again, I kind of understand where we're at. I'm not near, after watching the game tape, feel like it wasn't that. The game could have been a lot closer, should have been a lot closer, and Western Kentucky was still very capable of making a bunch of plays against us, but there's too many times that we could have done better, and we weren't that far off.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.